It's been a while since I've been excited by new assets coming to the game, but my lord have they smashed this out of the park. These new old buildings look absolutely breathtaking, and that's why we're going to be using everything you see in front of us to build our very own old town. And it's going to smash, it's going to look really good. Oh, I say that, I haven't done it yet. But I'm really excited. I've got picked the perfect spot to build this, and there's going to be a few little twists in there along the way as well to make this probably, maybe one of my favourites, possibly one of my best. But we don't know until we try. It might all go wrong. But if you just look at these assets, they have so much potential, which is why I'm really excited to use them. And once again, this is going to be on my map, Starfish Point. Everywhere has got a space, and we found a space to build an old town, which is fantastic. If you're new to the series, then welcome. I hope you enjoy the build. I recommend you watch the previous builds as well. And if you're coming back and returning after watching the previous episodes, then fantastic. A little bit of difference for you, a slight change, but everything you see in front of us, we're going to try and incorporate into our new build today. So this is our map of Starfish Point. This is our city. As you can see, it's quite the large city. It spans out, relatively modern I would say, and it looks fantastic. The series has come along really well. However, we're going to branch out slightly. As you can see, I've lined up all of these buildings over here just as get an idea of what they look like. But we're going to be using those, and we're going to be using this space here. And we're going to create a very small town that backs up onto these lovely looking waterfalls and this lovely nature sort of terrain. And we're going to build our very own little small town here and make it look, hopefully, quite nice. So that's a plan. Hopefully you can envision what it's going to be, but probably not, because I don't know what I'm going to build yet. But we'll get to it. Let's crack on. Now, as much as these boulders and this bridge and all that stuff looks really cool, they're going to go. We're going to start from a fresh. So we're going to literally get rid of everything that's here. And we're just going to start fresh. We're going to pick up all of these trees as well, because we just want plenty of space to just do what we want to do. Hopefully, and make it look good. So it's a bit annoying that we're going to have to pick up all of these boulders and stuff as well, but it's going to be worth it having a nice clean slate just to kind of do what we want to do. I'm probably going to pick up some of this as well while we're here. Probably about there would be alright, which is good. That's relatively clean and tidy now, which is thankful. We're going to get rid of our friendly bridge here that we no longer need, of course. So we'll pick all of that up. To be honest with you, where does that road even go? It doesn't go to anywhere. I'm just going to collect all of this road because we don't need it. It goes to nowhere. The initial vision was to build a mega city here, but to be honest, that city has just turned into such a ginormous thing that it's kind of its own place. The next thing that we need to do is try and sort out a bit of terrain. The problem that we are going to have is we're going to have to try and bring this highway into something small so that something more appropriate to cross over our river. It's not a very high river, it's quite short. Autosave. It's like I sneeze every time an autosave happens. It's like instead of me going achoo, I go autosave. How bizarre. So, plan is a little old town city here, hopefully looking quite nice. So first things first, I'm going to probably try and terraform a little bit. So I'm going to pick a height, something that's a decent sort of height would be nice. Something a little bit higher than normal, that's 9 meters. Let's have a quick check. That's plenty higher than this. So we'll keep that, we'll pick that height and we'll hang on to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to flatten all of this out. Just around kind of like that, and we're going to flatten all the way along our river that we've got here, just like this, and we're going to kind of shape all of this terrain. We want it somewhat flat around here. It's not all going to be flat, but some of it we want to be flat, just so that we can kind of get a good kind of shape going and nice surface for us to start building. And we want to match that same height on the other side of the river here as well, just like that. Potentially bring that up as well. I think that terrain rises up anyway, and we're just going to sort all of the terrain around here. Now what I'm just doing along the edges is I'm just flattening that out to a lower sort of size here, as you can probably tell. Just like that, just along here, because there is kind of an idea that I want to try and work with, which hopefully should allow us to do this. Same with just this small section along the waterfront here, which would be good because I quite like some small little paths to be able to walk down along the waterfront and have that surface there. This is the problem that we will face, flooding, because all of the water is flowing down from those hills. As you can see, it probably wants to eat up as much space as it can humanly take, so we might have to raise it up just a tad. Hopefully it will work at that sort of height, so I'm going to have to mess around with the terrain just a little bit, and hopefully it will allow us to build. Okay, so I've kind of flattened out the inside here. It looks a bit scruffy at the moment, but it will make sense. And then over here on this little bit, we've picked up slightly higher gradient. We're just going to raise that and just see how it looks, that sort of gradient. I think that's probably reasonable. I will tell you the vision shortly so that you have a bit of an idea of what is going on. But I just want to raise that terrain a little bit like that. Good, right, that will stay like that just for the time being. So my vision is, on this section, we want some quays along here, along there, leaving this part open and free. Initially, I wanted cycle path and footpath to be running alongside the river. The only issue that I have with that is the look of them. What do we think about the look of these? I'm not entirely convinced. There is potential for it to look okay, even if we add like a little barrier along the water so that it doesn't look too dangerous. But I'm just trying to think whether that is the right thing to do. Obviously there's a wide quay here which basically has the same thing, and we could just run that alongside the waterfront, which might be cool, good enough to do for us. So yeah, there's a lot of things to think about. I'm not entirely sure just yet what our plan is going to be for that lower portion. Over here, we're going to have a castle on this hill. We're going to have a castle on the hill looking over our little village. Or town. So a castle on that hill looking over the town. I think that would be quite cool. Tempted to even make that a little bit higher. Something like that. What kind of height? That's 36. I think making it higher, just like more dominating, because it's obviously the castle, I think would be quite cool. Obviously there's going to be a lot of terraforming and work to do to get that road to run up to said castle. But we'll make it work. We will make it work, hopefully. So first things that we need to do is we need to somehow establish this road to connect into this town. But I think the best thing for us to start off with is probably going to be just run the quay around here and then along here, just so that we have a better idea of what we're working with and how tidy it's going to be. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm convinced this game just hates me. After about 100 attempts, it's still got a massive hole in the ground, which is really frustrating. Really, really annoying. So I'm wondering if there's anything that I can do to just make this work. I just want to... Maybe if I de-key it all, like that, and then what if I was to then rekey it? No, it still goes all the way down, and that's not what we want at all, which is so annoying. What about if I upgrade this just to a normal path, Like, without the key would be great, but whatever. This looks like it might work. So if I upgrade all of that to a nice normal looking path, nothing to see here. We're not going to turn this normal path into a key, I promise. Don't break. Like that. And then what if we flatten around it? Don't tell anyone, but it might work. Come on, please. Oh yeah. No game too buggy for Neb, man. There's always a way. It's whether or not this actually looks good or not. I mean, it's better than having a hole in the ground is what I will say. So looking at the bike path, having the bike path here, as much as it'd be fantastic to have a nice cycle route that would take you all there, I think it's just way too big. And green. Big and green. What kind of size is the normal? See, this is far more acceptable. This sort of width. It's a little bit more discreet than having a massive bulging sort of thing there. So I think maybe if we go for a single, just a normal bike path would probably be better. Now that brings me on to the next thing of, we want people to be able to walk here too. So, I mean, what does this look like actually, while we're on the topic of deciding what things don't look good? Let's try this out. If it would just go in a straight line, flat would be grand. I mean, that's alright. That's not too bad, but part of me wants to have this quay as a pedestrian walkway. Initially I was not going to have a quay here on the second part, but now that I'm thinking that we're having all these issues with everything else, that maybe we should potentially have a pedestrian quay to walk on, kind of like this. And then we'll have our bike path within that little section there. So maybe we'll go for that instead. If that just hooks onto that, that'd be fantastic actually. I think that's probably going to be our best bet, I reckon. It's going to be a double key party, but maybe it'll be alright in the end. So I'll mess around with this, see what kind of happens, and hopefully we might end up with something that's not trash. We'll see. How short were people in the olden times? Were they short enough to walk underneath this bridge? Because that looks a little bit too short for me, unfortunately. So even if they were short, that's probably going to be a little bit too short. So a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. Maybe we'll have to crunch that up a little bit more to 7.5 potentially, and we'll just drag that across like that. That is about right. That's about in the middle-ish. That goes across like so. If I was to drag a narrow seaway through here, don't look like a drawbridge to me, even though I've got the seaway in there. Do I have to redraw this? Surely that's not meant to look like that. Ain't no way that that's a drawbridge. That is so buggy. That is the most messed up thing I've ever seen. Oh dear, what a disaster. Why are you like this? Yeah, I mean, they're very hit and miss, these things, aren't they? Do we have any decent looking bridges? That's an alley bridge, which is not really gonna fit the bill. 2-lane drawbridge, allegedly. Let's do another seaway like this, and then see what happens with our fantastic bridges. Why are they all messed up? What's going on? Why are you like this? Oh, do they have to just be ridiculously long? Is that why it's not doing it? Because they have to be about 3 miles long, longer than my entire city. That's not ideal. That's a bit of an issue, if I do say so myself. Oh well. I'm trying to build a crossing which doesn't look too modern, which this bridge doesn't look that modern, but it's just not hooking up correctly, and I'm thinking that I need to start way further back for this to work, which is a bit annoying, but it is what it is. So we're just going to have to get rid of quite a lot of stuff here and start way back in the distance over here. Otherwise, this is never going to work, essentially. So, yeah, right. Let's make this flat again because whatever was going on was just not working properly. So that's now flat. Blah 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 blah. Fantastic. Bridge-wise, it just didn't look great, and there's not many options for bridges. Like this one won't go even if we elevate it properly. It just looks rubbish. Arch bridge is way too modern. 4-lane truss bridge way too modern. That one modern. This one's probably the best bet, but don't be ridiculous. That's huge, absolutely huge. This looks like the most minimalistic sort of bridge that we can go for. If we go over to our smaller bridges here, that looks fantastic, but it's too big. Maybe we just have a single road crossing, because in reality, nothing is going over here at the moment, is there? Really? So what if we did just YOLO it and just have an old school bridge like that going across? Because it would fit the theme. It would fit the theme. I think we're going to have to, you know, and we'll mess around with all of that entrance later. So let's try with this. This is going to be our bridge connection. I don't think we need it as high. Probably about... That going to be high enough? Yeah, I think that's enough clearance. Cool. So now we just need to try and make sure it goes straight. That's straight. It just goes a bit weird. So we need to pick our connection, which is like here. That's a 90-degree from there. And we'll just bring that up, and hopefully with that we will be able to tell that it's 90% and it will go all the way across, just like that. And yeah, I mean, it's so much better than the others. I kind of just wish it was one single bridge, you know what I mean? Instead of having this right in the middle here. I don't think it's going to be long enough for us to get it right, unless, hear me out, I know this is not the most exciting thing to watch, but what if we did here to here? That would potentially work. And then it's a single Pringle. We'll have to raise it up so it clears there, but it should, in theory, work, right? I think so. Okay, right, let's try and get our angles correct then. So we want that to be hooked on here. We want it to be nice and straight, like that. Let's say if we want it to go over this section here. Oh, I wonder if we can just upgrade said thing. No dramas, right. So we kind of know what we want. Now we just got to try and implement it. So we got this. We need it to go up. Probably needs to be at least 10. Right, we'll sort this out. I think that looks far better than anything we've had so far. Oh no, I just realised. You're in the bike lane. Get out of the bike lane, I'm coming through, bruh. Let's try and very carefully move that out of the bike lane. Seemed like that was relatively problemless. However, no, there's no way that anybody's that tall. No chance. Maybe we should just make that a little bit taller. Just a bit. So that we don't have anybody bumping their heads. That would be a disaster, wouldn't it? That needs to go up. Not like that. Probably. Oh, this is hard work, you know. Okay, so a few additions. We've added some benches, some bushes, a few trees, different surfaces, a couple of little viewing seats slash bridges, whatever you prefer to use them for. We've added retaining walls to separate the cycle path here from the grass of the seating area, so cyclists don't come flying off into them. And yeah, I think it looks quite cool at the moment, to be honest. I think it's looking pretty good. I haven't decided what we're doing down here yet, so just ignore that for now. But progress has been made. I think the next step is probably try to establish a route to our castle. It's probably our best bet, because what I want is a nice like major junction or similar, and then I want a nice straight road that you have an entire view the whole way up to the castle, so you see the castle set up there from the street, kind of like a nice straight road the whole way. So that's kind of the plan. We just need to try and make that plan happen. Now this is proving to be the difficult task, and I'm debating what to do over this side. Whether we have some parking and then a footpath that runs up here would probably make the most sense. But I'm just trying to kind of make the terrain play ball, because at the moment the terrain does not want to play ball, which is kind of annoying. Terrain is a bit of a problem. I don't know why this bit won't go down. I just can't put my finger on it. I don't know if it's something to do with this or not. It's not. What are you to do with? Must be the road, surely. What else could be causing so much carnage? Maybe if I try and do it this way. I'm still not sure whether we want parking here or not. If we just do that, it means that there is something there, so that people visiting the castle can, in fact, sit or park and then walk up the hill. But it's just that bit there doesn't want to play ball, which is really frustrating. I don't know why. Oh wait, no, this makes sense. It's just because there's empty space, obviously. So if we just do that, like that, we'll have the empty space around it, like so. Okay. And we need to think about how we're going to blend that in, because that isn't very good to look at. Okay, no dramas. I think we might have resolved that issue, so we just need to sort this out once again. Try and make it look a bit better. So that is the middle. We want to take it out 4, and we'll take it out 4, just like that. Bring this out a bit so it secures the parking, like that and like that. You can decorate this a little bit in a minute, but that's some parking, and now we just need a little walkway that kind of goes up and round, which we can just use paths for. Do we even have a gravel path anymore? I don't think we do. I'm just going to use pavement paths, and we're going to basically pull it out of here, and we're just going to run it up relatively simply. Tell you what, mate, if I had to get up here, I would need a lift. There's no chance that I'm walking up that steepness, which is probably a sign to say, smooth it out a bit, son. There's not a chance in hell that I'd make it up there. I'm afraid. Much as I would love to, it ain't happening. Right, let's try and bring that through now. Just lose that connection of it. Whack that in there. And then we'll have to bring the terrain just a little bit out up here so that it doesn't form some skeleton around here. Oh no, the path. That's problematic. So we might actually have to nudge him back. Just like that. Oh, difficult. Now I think that's a pretty good view if you ask me. Just visualize the future. This is going to be like the main central junction here. You look that way, you go over the bridge and you can just about see the old kind of, we'll call these like the ruins of the forts, the old castle walls that would guard the water that would head over to the castle. And then over this way, if you looked up the road, you'll see the castle on the hill. If you're Ed Sheeran, you would sing Castle on the Hill, but as you're with Nebman, we're just going to say Castle on the Hill. That's a cracking view. We'll have something going this way. It's probably going to be more like a star junction rather than anything. But I think that looks pretty fantastic. I love it. I love that castle. I might just add a couple more trees or bushes or similar just along here a bit. Just like that. Just a few over here. I'm even tempted just to add a little bit of this, little bit of riverbed, just dropped around. Yeah, I think that looks so much better with a bit of riverbed. I wonder how far out we should potentially take it. Maybe just like this would probably do. I think that looks great. Personally. Might just drag that out just a little bit out like that. Put that out a little bit there. Fantastic. Give it that kind of muddy old grotty vibe there. A little bit of that. Do we want it to stretch up the hill any more? Ooh, that's a good question. You have me questioning myself. We're about to lose it all when we mess this one up. I like that. I like it. I'm going to even do a little bit more because I like it so much. Just around there. Nothing precise. We just want it to look a bit more natural than me getting exact angles on it. So we're just going to chuck that out there. Does it look alright over the top? I suppose it does, to be fair. I think this is coming together quite nicely, actually. I might just... This is the thing, I do it once and I get really carried away and then I just kind of continue. I think that's probably enough. I think that looks really cool. Now we just need a couple of like signs to say castle or park or whatever. So I might do that, and I might add a few bushes just towards the top of that little bit there. Small ones just along the top here like that. Just to cover it off just a little bit so we don't see the separation. Go, fantastic. Like that is probably perfect. And now I'm going to find a park sign. So I'm going to go in here, sign, hopefully. We wanted, there's a specific sign that I'm looking for. Oh, maybe we could just have that. No. I don't really want it to say campground, to be honest. The one that I'm looking for is like a like an information sign for a park, and I think we could probably get away. Yeah, like this. We could probably get away with this to pretend it's saying stuff about the castle rather than talking about anything else. So if we put that there, we'll have that facing inwards because we don't want it facing like that. Yeah, that'll probably do. That'd be good. Any other signs for us? Any other signs? Oh, yes, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's right on the spot there. That's perfect. Fantastic. It's coming together quite nicely, if you ask me. And I'll just put this one right here. Because that kind of looks like everything else is that way, because that's where the city's going to be. And then there's a couple of things up there, like the castle and the castle as well. So that could probably work. And we might just add a few little details and props around this car park to make it look a little bit nicer. There we are, a few minor adjustments here, and our castle's looking pretty good if you ask me. We changed the surface slightly, added a few bollards and signs, and yeah, I think it looks alright, not bad at all if you ask me. That's going to be a good old view once we get this city cracking. So yeah, fantastic, really happy with that. So at the moment I'm just precariously fighting with this roundabout that we've placed down in the middle here. Just trying to get these surfaces to essentially cover the roundabout while still looking round, which is actually far more difficult than it looks. So that's what I'm currently doing. I'm just going to try and do it the whole way round. Hopefully it will work. It might be the case that we could probably cover off some of the edges with buildings, so it will keep its curvature a little bit better. But yeah, it is quite the tedious task. I don't usually use surfaces on roads, so this is the first time that I'm doing it. So it is definitely up there with one of the longest, worst experiences of my life. But we'll keep on pushing through because I think it will look good in the end. So we'll just continue with what we're doing like that. Still a little bit hanging out just there. I mean, it's never going to be perfect, but it looks round enough to me. I've also added a train station there, which I'll show you in a sec. I'm just going to put all of these surfaces on the roads so that it looks old and old. Old and old. I'll just do it to here for now. And hook that up there. Cool, and then we need to do the rest with these over here too. So we'll grab that all the way. Problem is with this bridge, probably best do it to about here. And that's not quite far enough over, that will probably be far enough over. And then bring that all the way to the roundabout, like that. I did upgrade these roads to make them bigger, but the problem is when you do that you can see the yellow line in the middle still, which is really annoying. So it is what it is. We'll just have to stick with what we're sticking with. And then let's do that one as well. All the way over to the end here. I'm just going to box that off. Like that. And God, I feel like they're like reproducing, but it's just because I'm going around in circles. It's just confusing me a little bit. I'm like, I swear I've just done that one, but I'm just spinning the camera, so it's confusing me. But it's fine. We're not going bonkers just yet. Fill that out, and we'll fill that one out too, just for the time being. That's not quite at the correct angle there. Why aren't you at 90 degrees, sir? Why don't you like me? I think it's because I've brought the other one out a little bit further than the rest. Because if I do that, that's not 90 degrees, no worries. We'll just do that. And then we'll just bring that out like that. A little bit more, a little bit more. I don't know why I'm trying to touch up the details at this point because it's all going to change. But that looks quite cool. Nice old road. Do the same outside this gaff. This lovely train station that we've got. All the way across to here. Back down to there. Good, so a little bit of peak each end is no problem. Draw that out and then draw that out. And then the same over here. Just draw that out and draw that out. And we should be laughing. That's peaking a bit. Come on. Come on. I'll do. Cool. So that's hooked up to here. This is kind of an initial plan. This is the main centre where we have the viewpoints of the bridge. That. Something can go down there, I'm not sure what yet. But then we just want to start trying to place some houses, etc. Or buildings, whatever you want to call them, around this sort of area. So we need to try and plan that out next. So it has begun. We've placed down our very first buildings, which are never going to sit perfectly, and kind of with the times, nothing is ever quite perfect, these old jankety buildings, but I think they kind of fit around the roundabout pretty okay. So if you're sat here, let's do this, this will be good. If you're sat here chilling, having your cup of tea, looking around you, wow, what a beautiful sight. I must admit, these assets look absolutely beautiful. They are fantastic. You actually just look at them, wow. And then you're like, oh yeah, let's get a look, and then you can see the Dench Castle just over there, which is fantastic. Oh, what's over that? Oh, the bridge, wow. Oh my goodness, look at that, that's a train station. But you get the idea. It's going to be a cool place to be. We're going to fill in a few more of these props, these ones in particular, out on these kind of decking areas here. I mean, I say decking areas, plaza areas, just so that more people can have a little bit of food and stuff like that. So we'll just fill out these like that. I don't know why they're orange. I want them to be not orange. And then we'll basically do the same with this and just make it look more alive as such. With more places to sit, more places to eat. Just kind of the main sort of plaza square is the vibes that I want to try and go for with this one. And I think once we start filling it out with the rest of these buildings, etc., it's going to look pretty cool indeed. Just do all of that. A couple of these like this, and then just a few of these like that. And what ones are you? You're these ones. Let's grab some of you and just put them around that little heater / light thing that's there. And you can just have some more of these. That just makes it look a little bit more full, more like the town plaza. I think that is pretty cool. And then we should kind of get to work on trying to expand these buildings, expand them outwards, and see how we get on and what we actually end up with. This is certainly far more difficult than you'd think picking up and placing these buildings are, to kind of get the roads right and blend them all in and all that stuff. It is proving to be quite the challenge. And it had me think, do you think it would be easier if I actually just zoned? What if I did just zone in the blocks? Should I try it and see what happens? Let's give it a go. I don't usually zone, I will admit that. So, oh, it's not really going to happen because of all of the destroyed zone. Oh, I mean, there's no demand anyway, is there? Never mind. That lasted long, didn't it? Looks like it's going to be a flopper down session instead. So, yeah, I mean, it is coming together. Obviously, we've got loads of space to build, so it's going to be quite the lengthy task, and I doubt we're going to be able to complete everything in this video. So this might be one of those long old two-parters. I'm just adding a few pathways for effects, so it looks like this is a green park sort of area. But yeah, I think it's gonna come. It's coming along quite nicely. It's just time is the main thing. Absolutely the main thing indeed. But it is looking fantastic. I'm going to continue to place down some more, see how we get on. I'm hoping that it'll look pretty good once we're done with it. But these buildings are just stunning, absolutely breathtaking. Okay, fair enough to whoever's running the game nowadays. You've done a cracking job creating these buildings, absolutely fantastic. I've added in a small church, which I think really kind of fits in with the theme, just out the back by the train station. I think that's quite a nice little addition. It sits there pretty well, holds its own, so that's another little thing that we are happy with. I might start putting a few trees within these areas just to kind of get that ready to rumble, just to decorate a little bit, just so it looks a little bit better. And then hopefully from there, it should come to life just that little bit more. So just a few trees would be great in these little grass areas, like so. A couple around the back here. Some of them will fit, some of them will not fit. I'm using Anarchy so I don't place trees like inside of buildings and stuff like. Not using Anarchy is what I meant to say. So that I don't place trees inside random buildings, but you know, it is what it is. But just a few trees here and there just makes it feel a little bit more homely, a little bit less empty. Good, that's probably enough to be fair for now. But see, even just those little trees have made quite a large difference. And it's coming together. It's coming together. And look at that straight view of that castle. Wow, look at this. It's going to look fantastic when it's done. Really, really good. So I've made a bit of progress still. So as you can see, we're growing, but we've kind of made it towards the riverside, which from this angle looks fantastic in my opinion. Obviously with this straight street as well, going straight through, it still looks pretty cool. So I'm going to connect a few of these points just up to the main road like this. And like this. We're going to get rid of the zebra crossings because it ruins the somewhat effect of the old cobbled road. And then we're going to, same old story, fill in some of these gaps here with a few trees like so, just to give it a little bit more of an edge instead of just plain grass everywhere. Fantastic. There we go. Oh, that looks good from that angle. It is coming together. Wow. What an old town this is. Beautiful. Castle's still on the hill. Oh, I'd said that like it would have left and gone elsewhere. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. Still plenty more to do, and there's still work to do on the other side. I don't know what we're going to. I haven't thought about this side yet. I was going to try and finish this sort of section first. So that's what we'll continue with. We'll probably make use of this lovely straight road that we've got going on here We'll run that all the way out, and then oh, anarchy's gone off. I say it's gone off like I didn't just turn it off. And we'll make use of this road a bit, see what other buildings we can place down here. I do really like these road textures, they look fantastic. And I love that roundabout in the middle. I think it looks great, absolutely great. Let's have a little look to see what other parts we could probably pick up. Should we try potentially this one and see how we get on with that, or is that too big? That's too big, so we need a 3 like this is probably the best bet. If we do these down the edge, we need a little bit of variation, we can't just have these the whole way. Let's get rid of that. Maybe, good question, could have that there. It leaves us wide open there, doesn't it? I wonder if we can get a 1.2 in. Could have done a 1.3 there, but it's fine. Keep the variation somewhat chopping and changing. Is that going to be too much? I think that's fine because it kind of gives the aspect, unless it doesn't let me, of you're sitting on a nice cobbled street having some lovely food. However, I think it's actually these ones that disagree with each other. Let's get rid of one of them. If we get rid of one, then they seem to make friends again. Bring that nice and close, and then continue on our journey. Maybe go with 3x3 there. That probably fit on the corner, and then we can fit in this bad boy here. Move these along slightly, just like that. And then with the corners that we can't get fitted with any sort of buildings, we just like to green it off, and then we'll tree it up when we can. We'll do the same with these over here, like that, and then the same over here, like so. All of this can be green grass with a few trees just to break up the continuous buildings, and then change that up, put some of that in there. Might fit in there, might not. Some of them allow you to place trees in, some of them don't. And then ones that we can't place buildings in, we'll just do it ourselves. Trees! Can't place trees in. We'll do it ourselves, like this. Fantastic. Good. And then it's basically just playing a game of fill in the gaps. We build one bit, realise that there's a gap now here, and then we've got to fill in that bit. So I've added another little addition, which is right at the end of this straight road from the roundabout. It's kind of like a mysterious haunted mansion that an old man used to live here. You tell me the story, comment down below. I don't have a story for this just yet. But it's quite a cool, spooky looking house right on the edge of the water over here. Right down straight onto this road. It looks slightly different to every other building. It's still old and decrepit, but it's worth a visit if you're ever in town on a tourism expedition, because there are many rumours about said house that the comment section will tell you all about the haunted house. Well, that's going to be it for today's video. This is part 1 of 2 for this brand new old city. I really like the way that it's coming together. It is a slow process, but it is coming together quite nicely and it looks fantastic. Props to the creators for creating these wonderful, wonderful assets. Once we have finished building these houses, we've got loads of detailing to do, adding transport routes and actually connecting it up to the road network, because you actually can't drive here yet. But nevertheless, I think it's coming along fantastic. Oh my god, it's the Paulis! Alright, pal, what you doing? Don't know what he's doing. Ruined my cinematic. But yeah, I really like the way that this is coming together. Slow process, better than no process. just for you that are interested. Well, this has taken 4 hours and 11 minutes so far. So yeah, it takes a little bit of time to do these builds, but once it's complete, it's going to look really good. But for today, we are all done. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to comment your story or your lore about the haunted house. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Good night.